Hello everyone! I wish you all a happy and peaceful new day. Thank you for listening to Han's story. How would it feel to wear an expensive wedding dress for the first time as a single mother? The story begins early one morning, just as dawn was touching the rooftops. Han gently got out of bed, trying not to wake her 1-year-old son, Tom. She went outside to splash cold water on her face to wake up, tied her hair neatly, and prepared a small bag. A few diapers, a milk bottle, and Tom's favorite stuffed elephant. When Tom woke up, Han was already dressed. She picked Tom up, with no time to hesitate. The morning air was cool and quiet as mother and son began their familiar walk through the village streets. The road wound between mountains and houses still deep in sleep. It was a road she had walked countless times. But today, it felt different. Ahead, a clothing store's sign stood out in the early morning light. The elegant letters on the signboard seemed to glow softly. "Good morning," Miss Han said softly as Han entered, placing Tom on the cushioned chair in the corner of the room, his favorite place to play. "You're early today, and it's the weekend already." Han smiled and said, "Yes, ma'am," then put down her bag and got to work. She swept the floor, wiped the display windows, and rearranged the hair clips and sparkling crowns. The shop smelled faintly of lavender and linen. Sunlight filtered through the window, spilling onto the neatly hung rows of dresses. She cherished each dress, checking every stitch, adjusting everything. The mannequins stood silently in layers of lace and satin, as if also waiting for a very special day. Among them was an ivory white A-line dress, embroidered with delicate floral patterns that caught Han's eye. Han suddenly stopped. She was drawn to that dress. Oh, how beautiful it was. Han stood next to Han. "It's beautiful, isn't it?" Han's voice rang out, breaking the silence. Han blinked, as if waking from a dream. "Yes, it's really beautiful. Have you ever tried this dress on?" Han smiled softly. "Never. I have no reason to try it on. I'm just looking for fun." Han tilted her head. "You work here. Why not try it on?" Han hesitated, her eyes still fixed on the dress. "Can I try it on?" Han carefully took the dress down and gestured toward the fitting room. The towel in Han's hand fell to the floor. She said nothing, just quietly followed. The fitting room was dimly lit, faintly scented with the smell of new fabric, as if it still held the breath of the many brides who had stood there before. Han helped Han take off her simple shirt and old dress. Han stood still, her heart beating softly. Then the dress slid over her shoulders, as if it had been made just for her. Not only did it fit perfectly, but it felt perfect too. The satin hugged her waist, the softly embroidered bodice lay along her collarbone, and the skirt floated like clouds as Han zipped it up in the back. Han turned to look in the mirror and froze. In the mirror was no longer a tired mother, no longer a woman worn down by daily struggles. It was a gentle woman, radiating a very real beauty. When she stepped outside, the whole shop fell silent. Han looked at her and smiled. "You look like a princess." Han bowed her head and smiled softly. "A princess who works every day?" She picked up Tom and gently turned him toward his mother. "Look, Mom, am I pretty?" Tom looked at his mother, kicking his legs excitedly, babbling incoherently. In that moment, sparkling under the lights, the lace curtains swayed gently. Han stood there, smiling and crying. She hadn't planned for this moment, but it had come, and because of that, it was all the more real. She walked closer to the mirror and gently twirled the skirt. "I never imagined it would be this beautiful," Han whispered. "It's not because the dress is beautiful," Han continued, "but because I am still beautiful. In that dress, I am no longer the abandoned one, no longer the one who stays up all night with a fever, no longer the one who eats meals with only salt. I am strong. I am whole." Finally, Han changed back into her old clothes, carefully folded the dress, and handed it to Han. "Thank you. It's been so long since I felt this way." Han said nothing, just gently held Han's hand. The rest of the day passed as usual, but something in Han had changed. She mopped the floor more gently, saw herself brighter in the mirror, and even stubborn stains no longer bothered her. At noon, the shop was empty. The two sat on the long bench eating lunch. "Have you ever thought about a wedding dress?" Han asked. Han paused. "I used to, but not anymore." maybe that dream is over. You're still young. After having Tom, everything changed. I just want to raise my child well. I understand, but I still think you deserve happiness. Han was silent for a long time. It had been a long time since anyone had spoken to her like that, without judgment, without pity, just gently. She closed her eyes. When she opened them, she didn't see herself in the mirror, but in Han's gaze, in Tom's smile, she knew. She had never disappeared. She wasn't just surviving, she was still living. At the end of the day, Han handed Han an envelope. Today's pay and a little extra. You did well. Han held it with both hands. Thank you. For everything. As Han stepped out onto the street, the sun was setting. The twilight fading. Tom rested his head on his mother's shoulder. The streets were busier, noisier, but Han's steps were steadier. When she got home, the small house suddenly felt strangely warm. Tom crawled into his familiar corner next to the old blanket and 2 worn books. Hen sat on the edge of the bed, thinking about the difficult days ahead, loneliness, fatigue, the time she wondered if she was good enough. But now there was something else in her heart, the memory of herself in that silk dress. She didn't intend for the dress to be a turning point. It was just a moment, but that moment reminded her, even tired hands can still hold on to dreams. Even a tired heart can start again. For Hen, this journey is not just about raising Tom to be a good person. It's about becoming the woman her child can be proud of, the woman who never gives up. She is rediscovering her beauty step by step, quietly and firmly moving forward.